Good day, everyone. I wanted to share a reflection that came to me about one of the many beautiful things that came from my second ayahuasca ceremony with my shamana. And this one was heavily based around feminine energy. There were a group of women, there were about 4 or 5 of us. And so we really focused in on not only our own feminine energy, but the feminine energies of women that we've encountered throughout our lifetime, specifically our mothers and our grandmothers and our great grandmothers, right? And one of the common themes that kept coming up in all of the emotional things that were coming up for me and all the visions that I was having during the ceremony were these themes of, especially the women that I've encountered and that I've experienced, a theme of them abandoning their inner child. And I saw very vividly how I had done the same. And so from that moment on, during my integration session and my integration process, I made a vow to start living life through the lens of my inner child. And that did come with a lot of inner child work that I had to do, a lot of shadow work that I had to do to understand and figure out why I had left my inner child locked away in this little box all this time. And so I looked to my shamana and I said, I'm gonna start living like a child. And one of the most beautiful things is that we as adults, we're literally children with adult resources. Imagine if you were a child and you were able to have the funds necessary to make all your wildest dreams and imagination come through. That's you as an adult. That's at least how you should be living, right? I wanted to make a quick amendment to the video. I don't believe that all you need are funds in order to begin doing this, in order to start living life from the lens of your inner child. What you need is the heart. You need to be operating from the heart center and watch as everything that you need, whether it be funds, whether it be connections, whether it be specific events that you need to take place, when you start first living from your inner child and living from your heart center, doing things that your heart is calling you to do, all of the resources will come. So yeah, that's just that. And back to the video. And so I made a vow to myself that this is how I'm gonna start living my life. I am just my inner child with adult resources. So what does that look like? That looks like playing so much more, bringing so much joy and play into your life. Remembering the things that you used to do as a kid when you would go and play with your friends or with your siblings, or when you would play by yourself. What were some of the things that you gravitated towards? Like for me, for example, I loved reading. That was a form of play for me. I loved doing research. I was the kid with a stack of encyclopedias in my book, learning about the most randomest facts, because for me it was all a remembering. I was like, wow, this is so amazing. I feel like I've experienced it before. Probably because I have, I don't know. Or I would pretend to draw on a whiteboard and pretend that I was a teacher, and I'd give myself a name, I would make fake, papers, and I would grade them, and I had students and everything, right? Or I would pretend to be a doctor. There's just so many things that I used to do as a kid that are now coming back into my reality because I've decided to play more. Another thing I loved doing was taking my brother's toys and tearing them apart and then figuring out how to put all the pieces together. So problem solving was always something that I really enjoyed doing, figuring out how you can take something from one thing and then put it into another and turn it into something completely new. Like, Have you guys ever seen a Barbie car with a speaker set in it? Like, that's the type of stuff that I was doing. And eventually my parents ended up just buying me an engineering kit because they got tired of me breaking all of my brother's toys and not really breaking. I wasn't breaking, I was enhancing them in my opinion, but I ended up getting an engineer set and had all the nuts and the bolts, and I was making gold cards. I was making, mini portable radio player things, devices at the time. I was doing all of these things as a child. I was so curious. I taught myself how to play guitar because I was so fascinated by the vibrations of the strings and how I could move my fingers a certain way and it would generate a specific sound. And I would watch YouTube videos about brain surgery and people getting their organs replaced, and how does disease affect the body? How does it start? How does it develop? I was learning all of these things. I was doing all of these things as a child without anybody telling me to do it. It was just something that I was drawn to, I was curious about. And somewhere along the line, we tend to forget that we can actually bring all of those things into our reality, because as a kid it was my imagination, but it felt so real. And then as I got older, I was like, well, not all of this is really practical. I don't really know how to bring my imagination into my reality, so let me just go and do what everyone else is doing. Luckily I broke out of that pretty quickly, but imagine the people who are still in a career because they feel as though that's what they were supposed to do, leaving behind and forgetting about the inner child that used to love playing outside, that used to love going on adventures, So I am sharing this message with you because I want you to start tapping back into your inner child. What did you love to do as a child? Start writing those things down and doing them in some form or fashion as yourself now. Regardless of how old you are, it's never too late to begin playing again. It's never too late to get back to your inner child. You'll start to find ways that you can bring more of this into your day-to-day life. No matter how far off you've strayed from your inner child and what you truly wanted, you'll start to make your way back, and life will get more exciting again, more imaginative. Like, that is the basis of manifestation. That is the basis of the abundance frequency. That is the basis of creating your reality, is you step back into this play, this imagination, and you start to pull all of these things into your reality. I, in this very moment, speaking to you, am a manifestation of what my inner child has always wanted: to teach, to speak, to share, to heal, all of the above, to create. It just took me some time. It just took a little bit of time, but we're here now. That's all that matters. There's no better time than the present, right? But this is your reminder to start getting back into play, tapping back into your inner child. Some things will come up to the surface. Don't push it back down. Let it out. Release it. Analyze it. Work through it. And then integrate it. This is the shadow work. This is the message that your inner child needed as a confirmation that it's okay to come out and play. And it's okay to come back out and imagine a life that you want to live, and then go out and bring it into your reality. Because now you have the resources, you have the knowledge, the wisdom, the experiences, the community, the support in order to do so. And on that note, I will say that I am so grateful for this little community that we're growing here into something really, really big. I appreciate all of the comments, the kind words, the confirmation that the messages are being received, the waves, the frequencies are being spread out to whoever it resonates with, and you're taking action to change your life and be that catalyst for someone else as well. This is a massive movement, and it begins with one domino effect. And so thank you all for showing up for yourself and for supporting. Until next time, guys.